Hi, everybody. Now, before we actually get into the podcast, we've just finished filming it, and I think I feel very, very strongly that we need to put a warning out.
Well, I've seen the title.
Yeah, but still, it's extremely graphic, this conversation. Extremely graphic.
Well, I think when you got up and did that thing, I thought that was too much.
And also, whatever we're saying within it, we judge no one else. It is just for ourselves. We think, sex should be just let it all hang out and everybody do whatever they want, as long as it's with another consenting adult.
Come on in. Strap
enjoy.
it on.
Mark! Hello and welcome to How to Stay Married So Far. If you're listening on podcast, feel free to pop over to the Sawalha-Adderleys YouTube if you'd like to see us. I'd say we're looking pretty damn fine today, actually.
Would you?
Yeah, look better than we do usually.
I feel very ill, so it's quite something.
So even though we are ill, even though we are behind, even though we've been away.
See what she did there?
We had to sit down and do this podcast because this topic is something that Mark seems to be burning.
I wouldn't say burning.
To talk about.
I wouldn't say burning. That throws me under the bus big time.
I am joking. Only because this sex act... Yes, put that down. This sex act...
What sex act?
This sex act that we're going to be talking about.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's an activity.
Oh.
Do you not think it's an activity?
No, I genuinely thought you meant a different thing to that.
Why?
Oh.
What? This activity that we're going to be discussing today has blown up on TikTok. Apparently, in the world of the Gen Z...
Which is which generation?
I think you have to be in your 20s, coming up to 30. It is de rigueur that if you were courting,
yes.
if you were newly courting, you may turn to your desired one and say, "Do you peg? Do you like to peg?"
Pegging.
If it was you or I would have to answer, what the hell is pegging?
I always think I immediately think of clothes pegs. Pegging.
But I have now educated and informed myself on pegging so that we can bring this conversation to young and old.
I thought I was gagging to talk about it. So for those of you who are watching, we are going to demonstrate later with the help of some sort of tools. We're not. Pegging. I first came across pegging or understanding what pegging meant actually in the recent Deadpool trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, where all these kind of soldiers, security guys, villains, whatever, people are standing with all these long batons. And Ryan Reynolds goes, "We don't do pegging, not on Disney Plus," which I really or something
Apparently,
like that.
I think the references in certain movies and stand-up shows is what part of what's made this blow up.
You're liking that one, aren't you? The blow up one. I think.
Well, because I'm wondering if people are doing it on blow up dolls because some of their partners do not want to peg or to be pegged. I don't think
blow up dolls exist anymore, do they? Do people really do blow up dolls?
Well, they've moved on, haven't they? They're robots now.
They're kind of titanium, stuff like that. Okay, well, let me tell you what I thought pegging was. Once I'd kind of thought, oh, okay, pegging. And then you sort of cast your mind back and you think, oh, pegging. Now, I've always known, and there are many well-reported cases, stories, injunctions and what have you surrounding people who like things being shoved up their bottoms sexually, and so pegging, as I understand it, is very much about an artificial item, a strap-on or a dildo or something being inserted up a man's bottom in a heterosexual or bisexual
Well, it bears no relation to your sexuality.
No, it doesn't
It's
at all.
just a sex act.
Yeah, but pegging is presumably pegging for sort of straight men is the idea of a woman donning a or not just straight men, bi men, I guess. Donning a strap on and what I've read.
That's exactly what it is, and you know what it is.
Well, no, I know, but I suppose the reason I'm tiptoeing around it,
I'm guessing, is it that a woman puts on a strap-on dildo?
Well, I suppose the question I'm going to ask is there something such as pegging in a gay relationship if you have normal gay sex?
Well, one of the most...
I was actually being respectful there.
Googling around the sex act, what is pegging, is a
Yeah.
breakout search term on Google right now. And do women like pegging is another one.
Right.
And somewhat concerningly, this is what this article says, it says one of the other questions that people ask a lot is pegging gay?
Right.
And it says, if you're reading this with such concern, we can confirm that partaking in pegging has no bearing on a person's sexuality. It's just a sex act, big guy. And they're obviously referring to maybe sort of the more macho man that likes it but is worried if it's gay, because of course it's not. It's just another body. It doesn't make you gay if you get pleasure from your bum bum.
How can I come back with a straight face on that? Okay, can I just unpack something as a straight man about the bum bum?
There's fear, I suppose, for straight men.
Can I say it?
Is there?
Can I say it?
Well, I'm asking.
Rather than you're telling me. I think this speaks to a truth in masculinity and straight male masculinity that I think there is perhaps a sense, and I think I am of a generation where the thought of getting any arousal or pleasure from the bum bum isn't a sign. I'm not stupid enough to think that would mean that I'm gay.
No.
Or that it's. But then, does that matter either? I mean.
It's toxic masculinity.
It is toxic masculinity, but I suppose I've never even thought about it as a possibility. And I think my main reason for that is one of cleanliness. It's one of it's
poo-poos in your bum bum.
Well, thanks for dealing with this in such a sort of play school fashion. Yes, yeah, there's poo-poo in your bum.
But I suppose you'd have to have a bath.
Well, and evacuate. Maybe you plan these things. I mean,
you do have to plan. Interestingly, it says nothing of that in this whole article, and yet I know that is an important thing.
Well, it is an important thing.
If you're going to have anal sex,
it is an important thing, and it's one of the reasons why, though I've done it, I'm not particularly sold on or particularly enjoy anal sex. It's not something I don't see it as something that one. I don't see. I mean, I've been in situations.
Can I just push you? I think we've jumped ahead.
Okay.
I think what we need to do is establish what the hell we're talking about, rather than going in great detail about what you or do not personally think about anal sex. Can we just pause and let me just?
Sorry, I didn't.
You're a bit like a rat up a drain pipe.
Oh my god. Right. Okay.
You're a bit like like a stallion fighting its way out of its stable. Yeah, so just calm down and let's just work through.
I don't understand what you're trying to infer here with your overperformed.
Well, you just seem to very excitedly be telling us in detail what you think about it.
Well, no, I do. Okay.
Okay. So
well,
first of all,
smart ass?
What is it? It is penetrative sex.
Pardon?
Penetrative
you can't
sexual
say it.
act,
it's not
whereby one person wears a strap-on dildo and puts it up their partner's bum bum. Now, this could be a man or a woman.
Although there's a lot of clobber in the way when you put a strap on as a man. You don't need a strap on as a man. You don't need one.
I don't think men do it.
That's my point. There's a basic.
So I think we should whisper a bit more. Our children.
I think men can wear them, but they have to put the todger somewhere else. I mean, it seems odd to remove something you've already been equipped with.
I don't think you'd put one on if you've got one.
There are double dildos. There are double strap-ons.
Mark, you know a lot, and you are very keen to talk about all of this.
Hang
and I think we
might
have to cut off early.
Hang on a minute. I've got a great quote
Right,
here.
not yet.
All
We're
right.
still trying to bloody tell people what this is.
You've just said what it is.
I think we went too far into anal sex.
We've gone in too deep.
And at one point I thought, if I was listening to this, I'd have turned off by now because you've said it too many times.
We've gone too fast and too deep into this subject.
Mark.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
So.
Bum.
Pegging is more popular than people think.
Well, clearly, that's what we're
This
talking
is from the
about.
Women's Health Interactive. It says 16% of adults have tried it. And wait for this,
That doesn't sound like a lot.
sales of pegging products are rising by over 40% yearly,
Good
which means
God.
everyone eventually is going to be bloody doing
No, it doesn't. 16%. That's
40%
nothing.
yearly.
Yeah, but of what?
No, let's do numbers, because I'm now lost.
It could be 40% of 20 sold a year. It's not a lot. That'd be another 8.
Yeah, but if it's rising by 40% every year, that's a lot.
Okay, well, 16. Okay, 16. But what I'm reading in certain places is that it seems to be much more the case with Gen Zers and younger people, that it's an accepted, not only accepted,
like BDSM.
but yes, which is bondage, domination, submission.
Oh, it was so much easier in our day, wasn't it?
Whips were so much easier.
It was so much easier in our day.
We what, just a slapped arse? I know what you mean.
Mark!
What?
Nobody's talking about slapping arses. Don't be so 1970s.
Babe. Bring back the bush.
Babe.
Okay.
Bring back the bloody bush. We need to do a whole podcast on that.
Well, we will. Can I say anything? Because you don't seem to be. You don't seem to be going any deeper into the subject.
Because you're not letting me
all right,
finish.
I'll shut up and I'll hand it back to you.
Setting up the story.
Set it up.
Right. Now, the thing about pegging is, apparently, Gen Z, and you can tell us whether this is true or not, the reason why they ask their potential new partner whether they're into it or not. Now, wait what you think about this, Mark.
Okay.
Apparently, asking a man whether or not he's into pegging is the ultimate indicator of whether or not he's boyfriend material.
What?
As in, his reaction. That was a very hard pitch.
I don't know what
You
happened.
sound like something shoved up your arse.
Yeah, I felt like I'd had something shoved up my arse.
As in, his reaction will tell you a lot about how secure he is in his sexuality.
What did mine tell you?
Yeah, exactly. His deepest desires and how he views women who loudly proclaim their sexual agency without shame. So I suppose it doesn't mean that you've got to say yes, but it means the way that you would then communicate about whether you liked it or not. But I just think it's a bit extreme.
I think that's a load of old fucking hogwash. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. To make a pre-judgment. So what they're basically saying, these Gen Zers, is that unless you're in any way okay-ish with the prospect or possibility of having something shoved up your bum.
No, that's not what it's saying. That's what I just said. What it's saying is the way that you would communicate as to whether you liked it or not
well, hang on, that
would give you an indication.
Yeah. So, depending on how I would respond, say we were Gen Zers and you said to me, do you like having strap-ons?
No, don't say too many words. Because, Mark, right, I've got to pause you.
Bum bum.
You've said it too many times. Apart from anything else, the algorithm is going to blow us off social media.
The algorithm's going to hit the G-spot.
So can we stop saying...
Saying what?
Stop it.
I haven't. I said bum bum.
No, but you keep saying no. Or you say it too many times.
Yes.
We are actually only 7. I'd like to be 7 years old. No, but don't put your hand over your mouth and think people can't see your
I didn't say...
No,
anyway.
right. Just now don't say anus anymore.
So if there's this idea that somehow you are crippled and a victim of toxic masculinity unless you're free and easy with the idea of it and can kind of
talking about
and can spitball and chat about it and just go, okay, and unless you demonstrate a sort of ease with yourself, you're somehow less of a man. That's a load of old bullshit.
In your opinion. No, but then again, you're an old fogey and you're not a Gen Z.
I'm not sitting there thinking I don't like it because I'm anti anything. I just don't want anything shoved up my bottom.
No, but you do keep missing the point. This is the 3rd time now I'm going to say it.
It
is not about you going, oh yeah, I love it. Okay, your boyfriend material. It's the way that they respond. Even if it's like, oh no, it's not for me, but tell me about you. So it's not about having to like.
So it's about having the conversation and not doing it. Yes. Oh right, okay.
Right.
I've got a killer question for you. Am I allowed to ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever shoved anything up a man's arse?
You will have to take that out because I am not. That is too far. We are not talking about that.
Question.
No. You've moved me on to point 7 now, which is you must have a safe word. And mine is apple crumble. Do not ask me direct questions like that on a podcast.
Why?
Because I don't like it. Apple crumble. Stop. That is my safe word. Stop.
You're like a defence lawyer.
Stop. Have you ever shoved anything up anybody's arse, Mark?
No.
Well, why is your voice so high then? Rubbish. Lying. Obvious.
I thought you were going to say up a man's arse.
You're lying.
I thought you were going to say up a man's arse.
You're lying.
Point 7.
So.
What? Do you want me to read?
I was talking about why it's such a huge exercise in trust, and it's because, listen to this, what do you think of this? It allows for each partner to walk a mile in the other's shoes when it comes to each other's roles between the sheets. Now, does this mean that sometimes, you know, men can bang away thinking they're being like totally fantastic, but actually it's not always fantastic, is it?
No.
For whip, crack away, bang, bang, bang. So maybe...
I feel very hemmed in by what I can and can't say, and I'm trying to read into your many musical analogies. It's really hard. This is like bed knobs and broomsticks.
So I don't know if I believe that.
I don't understand it.
It says you can get a greater understanding of each other's sexual desires and intimacy.
Well, what I've read around it... Well, okay, let me approach this... I'll try and approach this from where I think Gen Zers are coming at it. The idea around it is that nothing and nowhere should be off limits. That we should try and step away from received, you know, ideas of what's permissible, what's allowable, what we can do, can't do, what's kinky, what's allowed, what's disallowed, and try to escape the shackles of what's probably made me think, oh God, no, it's not for me. But what I don't want that to then turn into is unless you're open to it, you are somehow less of a man or less of a woman. One of the things I've read a lot about is the reason a lot of women like it. There's a piece here in Vice magazine. They say it's about feeling like they can reverse the sense of power in that with a small p, you know, the power of sex, and like you've just used the beautiful analogy of going at it like bing bing a me, jing jang.
Whip crack away, whip crack away, whip crack away.
Yeah, so, you know, perhaps this affords women and allows women to be able to do the same thing back onto them. I just want to read a quote from a woman who's really into pegging. And she says, the first man I ever pegged was far from a fountain of wisdom. But I did find that the role reversal and power that I found that came with ploughing into a man's huge hairy arse.
Oh, please don't tell me those are the actual words.
Yeah, as opposed to him ploughing into my huge hairy
you're making this
bum
up.
hang on, is a pleasure that can't really be matched by any other. She likens it to going from playing on a PlayStation 1 to playing on a PlayStation 4. So obviously it is about power and control, and I think this is the really interesting part of the whole debate, because I think this rather than the Gen Zers who have rather cleverly, potentially, I know that's not quite what you're saying, but I'm kind of, let me go with this just for a minute. But there's a sense that you feel that there's a sort of weaponizing of those people, or a kind of, you know...
You're not giving...
No, hang on, let me finish a thought. So there's this idea that unless you're free and easy and you've got a problem with your masculinity. I kind of understand where that's coming from, but I would argue that if the reason a lot of women like doing it is because they want that power, then they're wanting toxic masculinity themselves. Because I don't think having sex for me is about...
too much. I just think everyone's overthinking it. I think since time began, people like to roll
stuff up their
reverse.
arse.
Some people, you might have a dominatrix month, and then you might have a more submissive month. And I think it's just that. Okay,
well, Ben, who's 33, who likes to be pegged, says there's a release for me just giving up power and allowing my partner to take control of me. Getting on my hands and knees, bless you, and being senseless, it just feels incredible.
Good for them.
Yeah.
It would actually make me want to throw up, but I would not want to be like, oh, no.
So, okay, here's a killer question. Not that I am in any way interested in this. If I was... And I came to you, and I was trying to sidle my way around. How would I approach this topic with you if I wanted to be pegged? How would you advise? How would you respond?
Well, no, there is. They do talk about that here, and they say the way to do it is like through a third party. So you might say,
you invite someone in.
No. So you might go, I was listening to that Mark and Nadia podcast today, and they were talking about pegging.
Oh.
And the person would say, what's pegging? And you'd say, well, apparently you put a strap on it in a minute bumper. And they would say, oh my God. Or they'd say,
oh, that sounds
and then that's your gateway in without it being too direct.
Are you saying that we are a gateway to pegging?
Oh my God.
That's odd.
Maybe we are.
I didn't think we could be.
God, I can't believe the kids are upstairs.
I know, I'm hearing every step upstairs.
Oh,
Okay, well, what other little pearls of wisdom have you
will
got?
you shut up for 1 minute? My God, you're too overexcited by this bloody topic.
I'm not.
So, I'm a complete beginner. How do I introduce pegging into my sex life?
Okay.
So let's give you some really good, handy take-home tips. Okay?
Go on then.
Now we are the gateway to pegging.
Good.
So, with lube, exclamation mark.
Right.
It's very, very important.
Yes.
Because the bum is not self-lubricating.
Yeah, it's not a naturally lubricating
No matter
vessel.
how much you try and turn it on, no matter if you're swinging from the
Turn
blooming
it on.
whether you're swinging from the chandeliers, you are not going to lubricate your bum.
But by lubricating it, does it become automatically more enjoyable? I
Just
guess,
shut
It's a dialogue.
Make sure you're opting for water-based anal lube. You were interrupting me at a point where it's very, very important.
Right. As opposed to
This
what?
is for 2 reasons. Firstly, water-based lubes are safest to use with toys and condoms.
Right.
And you want to stay safe.
Very technical, isn't it? It's very. I mean, you have to get prepared.
Plus, they're extremely skin-friendly because don't forget, even in your bum, there's skin.
Can you use olive oil?
Absolutely not. What have I just said? Water-based.
Okay, just checking.
Idiot.
Mediterranean diet and all that. I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so whether you are just starting out or whether you are a pegging connoisseur, here are some extra tips to spice things up. See what you think of these,
All right,
Mark.
let's go for it.
So, how popular is pegging? Well, we know all of that.
Yeah, we know how popular it is.
We know that.
It's not popular here at all. Though
I'm starting to worry a bit about that.
If we've been if we've been your gateway to pegging, then that's a curious role we've played.
Here are the tips.
Okay.
You must talk things through first.
Well, otherwise you get the shock of your life.
Yeah.
If you don't talk it through and your partner walks in with a strap on.
Yeah.
Good God.
I once shared a flat with a girl who suddenly walked in with a strap on. It was the most shocking moment.
And did she offer you?
Well, I was the only other person in the house, in the flat.
Well, how did you get out of that? How
just
did you
laughed hysterically and went, where's that? Where have you got that from? Who's that for? And she was just like sort of backed out.
Wow. Backed out.
The last thing any person wants when engaging in pegging, a new sexual act, is a surprise. So make sure you've covered all bases, and of course, with that, you must have your safe word, because slow and steady is the way with pegging, right? You do not want to go in there hammer and tongs. It's dangerous and it's painful. So you have to go slowly.
And that doesn't mean you can go in there with a hammer or a tong.
And what I love here is it says, if you're the giver and you're much smaller than your partner, you may need to do a little planning so the moment isn't ruined by trying to find a box to stand on. I couldn't even work out what they meant with that.
Oh, I see. To stand on. Not to kneel. It's a very. Can I make a suggestion? It sounds very
medical,
aggressive.
It sounds medical.
I mean, it sounds. I mean, is it part of the BDSM? It feels very domineering.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
So just to reiterate, remember when it comes to pegging, slow and steady wins the race, and lots of lube.
Okay. All right.
So the main misconception about pegging is that it is a homosexual act, right? And that is, like we've discussed earlier, because of all sorts of like weird, messed up feelings we all have about sex and shame and fear of being gay and all of that bollocks. But it is not. It is literally just another part of your body where you can have extraordinary pleasure. And this is the point I'm going on to next.
Okay.
Because you can find the P-spot.
Well,
where
yes.
do you think the P-spot
The
is?
prostate.
Where is the prostate?
For men.
Where is it?
It's right in behind the old balls and all that sort of stuff.
Right. So an alien has just landed and said to you, where is your P-spot? And you go, right round the back of my balls. Is he going to find
Well, he would if he goes through my arse. If he pegged me, he'd find it quite quickly. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? But apparently for men, it's a guaranteed way to have an even better orgasm, which is why apparently men do it.
Oh my God. When we turn this camera off, it's going to be so funny.
Why?
Because I've got a lot of questions for you.
Why?
Apparently,
Well, because I've read it in Vice magazine.
You keep lying. You obviously know this, and that's fine. But
Nad,
that's
I
fine.
am gonna in a minute hit you with a dildo if you don't shut up.
Right. As all he could say was round the back of his balls, I'm going to give you a proper
Well, I've never had my prostate
GPS.
stimulated,
I'm
so
going
there
to
you
give
go.
you a proper GPS.
All right.
Okay. So the easiest way to find your prostate is to use some lube, get the anal passage, trim your nails first.
Yes, I can imagine.
Right, so you need your anal passage and a willing finger.
How are you happy saying this, but if I say bum bum, you think I've said something awful?
The prostate, or P-spot as it sometimes goes, roughly a couple of inches inside the anus on the front wall.
Front wall? front
I knew that was going to
front
get you.
wall?
If you think about aiming for your belly button
Oh, okay.
from inside your body,
Okay, hang on 1 second.
you're in the right ballpark.
Okay.
You're in the right ballpark.
Wow. Yeah, I get it. It's funny enough.
The area is made largely of veins and nerves and
I just-
tends to feel softer or more rubbery than the rest of the tissue. Pressing it may incite a feeling of needing to pee. Yeah, that's the other nice bit to this. This is because the prostate gland sits right by the bladder.
That's what I said. Behind the balls, up at the top, round the bladder.
You never said that. You said up round the back of my balls. That's all you said.
Yeah, but if you're going from the...
Mark,
if this is your,
we had no postcode.
if
We
this
had
is your
zero
front
postcode.
wall, and these are the side walls, that's the side
You
gates.
never at any
If you've
point
got
said
the
wall
back
or
entrance,
gate.
I've never ever thought of all of this part of my body as a house. It's like the
Mark,
front...
you didn't say wall, you didn't say gate,
No, I
you
didn't
didn't
say
say
wall.
bladder, you said up round the back of my balls. That's
Yes,
all you said.
I think that's-
How
I think
people
that's-
were supposed to find it from your GPS, I don't know.
I've only ever once had a finger shoved up my bottom by a doctor. That's the only time I've had it. And it wasn't pleasant. It felt like a reverse
if it
experience
ever hurts, you
of
should
expelling.
stop. You shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't hurt.
Darling, I don't understand. So you are giving us detailed guidance on how to do it, basically.
Yeah, I said I'm giving you the top tips.
Right.
Right, so next thing you've got to do is go shopping.
Right, what, for the kit? Yeah?
Oh, look at you, the kit is all excited.
I'm not
Because he's a
excited
shopaholic.
Oh my God, I'm not
Are we
excited
going to have
about-
bloody kits coming
No,
in
we're
left,
not
right and
gonna have kit.
centre?
Babe, the thought of you walking in with a...
Why am I walking in? You've been shopping,
Because
not me.
women wear them
Wear
in
what?
straight relationships.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
What are we talking about?
Sorry. I thought you were shopping for
I'm
a
not going to be
kit.
peggy. I can peg you tomorrow. I can peg you now, couldn't I? I don't
Mark,
need anything to peg.
Shut up.
I could just...
Shut up. Apple crumble.
I can.
No. You cannot be allowed round these topics.
What do you mean? Apparently, on this Vice article, if you want to get there slowly, suggest rimming.
Oh,
Why would
God.
you? I don't understand the enjoyment.
Well, you know why? You know why we don't understand the enjoyment?
Because we haven't tried it.
Because we haven't tried it. And because we don't want to try it. Because we are old.
'Cause we-
Thank God. But obviously, there's a lot of nerves there and people get a lot from it. I suppose they lick it, somebody else moans and loves it, and then they feel good. Everyone feels happier. But not for me.
Do you know what I always... Can I just on this note? Do you know what I always think of when I think of or hear people talk about rimming?
Why do you keep thinking of rimming? Why are you thinking
rimming.
of it? Yeah, but why are you thinking
I'm
of
not
it?
because
You
we're
said
talk-
whenever I'm thinking
Because
of
we're
rimming.
talking about it.
Well, we never talked about it before, so why are you always thinking about
I'm
rimming?
not.
You
When
didn't
we
want-
talk about it, it immediately makes me think of squid.
Why are you holding?
Squid
If you
rings.
can't see- on
Calamari.
YouTube- Calamari.
Makes me think of calamari. Doesn't it you? Especially
No, it
how
makes me think
rubbery
of a
they are.
cat's ass.
I said that last night and you hammered me.
Mark, people will think you said that last night when we were in bed. That was last night with a full house. You said cat's ass.
Anything else to give us? So you don't want to talk about the power balance, could you in any way
No,
understand?
because I think there's always. I just don't
I
think
know,
it's
but
that
what-
big
okay.
a topic.
I do.
Well, go on then. Talk about power
Can
balance.
you understand a woman's desire to want to be in control?
I can
sexually?
understand two consenting adults. I can, if it's not something that appeals to me, I never ever think, oh my God, you shouldn't do that. I have no judgment in it.
No, I don't.
I mean, I do not want to rim. I have never understood rimming. I will never rim. But I can imagine that for some people it's wonderful. There may be things that I do that another person would think, ugh. You know, it's just the way of the world.
There's
As
that
long as
thing.
both people are happy with it, I'm happy with it.
Oh, there you go.
And I think since time began, people, I mean, you know, you could roll over and sit on top, and that could be you taking the power. I mean, it's not. Is it not always a bit of a shift here and there?
I mean, I do think on a serious note that I think it is funny though. Finally, I do think that for a certain, and I do think it's a generational thing, for a certain generation of men, fussing around that bit down there for some reason.
Fussing around that bit.
No. You know. So for me, I just think it's not on my sort of map. It's not in my GPS to kind of go there.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's not. I'm not needing to go to Google Maps to find it. I don't want to find it. I don't want to go. I just. It's there. I know it's there. We deal with it in a functional fashion, and I don't know if I want you to particularly be involved with it either.
I really don't. I don't want to.
That's good because I don't want you to.
I just. It would change everything.
It would.
And maybe that's because we're messed up and we're old
repressed.
And we're repressed. But I think if you're repressed, it feels good. When you look out and you look at people that aren't repressed, I don't envy people that aren't repressed.
Well,
I mean, we've been watching Thruple recently. We're exhausted
well,
just
we're
watching
going to do a whole thing about that.
If you want to watch it so that you can join in our thoughts and feelings of it, what channel is it
it's on Hey You.
Yeah.
Hey You, couple to thruple. I mean, you know, there are certain things that I really like, and there are certain things that I get sort of excited by the thought of. But this is not one of them, contrary to what you seem to think.
Well, I think you can get excited by the thought of it. I think you can have the fantasy of it. You can have the chat around it. But the actual act of putting your finger up somebody's bum with all sorts of risks of
them
how long
farting.
it could go.
What about if they fart? I mean, you know, suddenly it's. You know, I saw a meme the other day going around. This made me really raw because I was talking to someone, a young friend of a friend of a friend, and I was saying it said it used to be that the first kiss was the most important part of a new relationship, but now it said, but actually it's the first fart. Because how that goes down and how that's managed and how that's processed is important. So I'd have thought having sex up the bum is fraught with possibilities, isn't it? All sorts of audible problems.
Yes. Not for us.
Well, guys, what are we missing out on? Should I buy Nads a strap-on? Should we experiment?
Leave your comments below.
Yeah. Should we peg?
Yeah. I think we need to put a warning at the beginning of this, Mark.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if pegging will get
Mark,
blocked.
stop now. It's boring.